Dearest gentle listeners, you are listening to Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the phones. We are your effervescent hosts, your neighborhood friendly Kiwi Tosh from Midwest New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, who is winging it and can't remember all those words. So she's
Strong.
currently in her I just sat down for the first time really in 5 days era.
Settle down onto your favorite settee as we delve into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the Dom. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and trying to think of how it went.
I'd be like, and
The 90s
diving.
the 90s
Yeah.
dial up.
We did dial up before, but I mean, we froze today on the computer, so I'd be like, in
In the connections of our favorite characters, we cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain spoilers. Today, if you are noticing that our audio quality sounds different, my computer has decided that it's just going to doubling itself and has gone to the Northwest Passage.
It did a season 4 and did it, and so much death and carnage.
Our computer is literally in part to Rami. My husband spent hours last night trying to get it up and working. It is not. Hopefully we will be able to get it up and running within the next week. But deep apologies, deep apologies, deep sorrows.
Sorrows, prayers. You're getting raw, unfiltered over the Wi-Fi / cell phone data.
Yeah. So today's episode is not going to be as cut and polished, but we're just going to roll with it so that you guys still get to continue on the weird and wonderful dive that is two friends talking Bridgerton.
Yeah. Today's pod in the US is brought to you by Zoom and Verizon Wireless and fiber internet.
Today's pod is by anxiety and blueberries.
So yeah, pod snacks. We're a little lo-fi, so can't get to the song, but what's your snacks, Tosh?
My snackalax of the day is I've got a iced caramel latte and some blueberries.
Well, I was just going to say what I ate earlier when I drove my son home, which was hearty, but that's been a while now because of technical difficulties. So I pulled out, my family did our Thanksgiving yesterday, but my sister and I were not feeling, much to the chagrin of her children, traditional Thanksgiving fare.
Mm-hmm.
So she made bourbon chicken that tasted like the teriyaki chicken that you get in the mall here. Like there's a mall food court place that does teriyaki chicken and we love it. And it was so good. And I made my mom's bacon fried rice and that was delicious together. But her kids raised I'm sorry.
That was a top blueberry.
Her kids raised such a ruckus that she still ended up making cheesy potatoes and put ham in them. So I have some of that.
Can we just practice this with her children are not children, but in fact are fully grown
full-on adults, both with children of their own.
So we're not talking about 5-year-olds. I want my mashed potatoes. It's 25 and 30-year-olds.
My niece Samantha walked in the house. She made the desserts, an apple crisp and an Oreo pie. And her Oreo pie looked store-bought. It was beautiful. She did a good job. She was so proud of it. And then she's like, I don't see cheesy potatoes. Where are cheesy potatoes? And my sister decided to mess with her and goes, I didn't make any, Samantha. We're having Chinese. And she's like, Mom, I made the desserts. I will kill you.
Like I did not go through all of this effort to not get my cheesy potatoes in return. That is not the deal.
And my sister still made deviled eggs because I think we'd have Jello for Thanksgiving, yet still make deviled eggs like it is a thing. But yeah, we didn't do a traditional Thanksgiving. So I heated up some of my bacon fried rice, and I still had a partial jar of tikka masala sauce. So I put that on it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean. That long story for that.
This week has been an exciting one, but harrowing one for me. We are, well, not exciting, like as in like anything major happened. We just went, it is our homestays last week with us. So we went over to the West Coast, which I did it on holidays when I was a kid. When we flew over from Australia, we went to the West Coast and went to a place called Shantytown, which is like a gold mining town. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I haven't actually in the West Coast, mostly for the fact that it is riddled with mosquitoes and they love me. That keeps me well away. But I decided to brave the mosquitoes and we went and did 2 different hikes in true Tash fashion. I got the complete wrong pass. So this entire week I've been looking up the weather forecast, being like, yep. Like I think we're all good to go. it rains on average every 2 days in the West Coast. 200 days a year, it rains. So I was like, no, actually looking good. Let's go. I was meant to be looking up Arthur's Pass, which is West Coast. Instead, I was looking at the Lewis Pass, which is far, 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 far south. So we go start this waterfall hike. We've already done 2 hikes that day. We pull up to go do this waterfall hike, and it is pissing with rain and about to start thunderstorming. So we decided to abandon ship. I wasn't forecast to do this. What's the problem? But we had a great time. We got to see glowworms, which is like the New Zealand version of glow bug. What?
Lightning bugs.
Yeah, from Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, fireflies, lightning bugs. Yeah.
Fireflies. That's
it depends on where you live, what they get called.
I've been trying to think of the word fireflies, so I'm like, glow bugs.
When I was a kid, I used to love, my grandpa would catch fireflies, lightning bugs. He would make a ring out of them for your finger. And I loved that until I found out that for him to do that, it meant he killed them. And then I was like, don't ever make me a ring again.
I love it. Don't do it again.
I love it. It's so pretty. Not again. No, I'm not that kind of princess. I do not want things to die to make me feel pretty.
So we went and we did a walk called Castle Hill, which looks straight out of the Lord of the Rings. We went and did Cave Stream, which is like you can go cave diving through it, but not for children under 12 years of age. So we just went all the way down to the cave mouth, but didn't actually go through it because it goes waist deep on an adult. So for Ezra, that's below head height or above head height. How
are you doing down there, Ezra?
I mean, we're not terrible parents. We'd give him a snorkel. But yeah, so we had a great time. I am 1000% eaten alive by mosquitoes, but I do believe it is time to make it into 6.
Yes, we are skipping Bridgerton news for this recording because I want to review Wicked for Good, but I want to put that on YouTube, and we're not putting this video on YouTube. It's a little too raw.
I can't do it until I've seen too many spoilers already, and it's upsetting me.
Oh, I was seeing so many spoilers because I had planned, I'm going with Leah still next Saturday. We planned for it, but it was Thanksgiving. I had such a rough week myself.
Yes.
That
you decided to treat yourself.
Cameron wanted me to drive him to the movies and then come home and then drive back to get him. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay and I'm going to see my movie. And so I did. And it was fantastic. Nice. Although I heard bad news, much in the way of Hollywood. Supposedly there is word that Universal is going to continue with the Wicked story and put out more stuff. And I'm mad because
OG.
This is the musical, first and second half. Although a lady who saw the movie with me, like in my showing, thought the first movie was the musical and the second half was completely made up. But I'm like, no. So they took the stage musical, which had limitations because it's live theater and it's the stage, and they added the magic of movie making to it and made it exactly perfect, like how I see it in my imagination when I watch the stage production, if I could make it look this way, I would. And now Universal, of course, wants to ruin it for $1 or $2. That makes me sad. But that's all we'll say for now till you see it, and then we'll do a proper review.
Do our intro.
Okay, so winging the intro today. Guess what, dear listeners? This is not about the engagement party. We have finally finished our 4-part analysis of the engagement party, and we have moved on to the one single solo, like, true episode where we get the Colin in love for any length of time. Now we're gonna savor it. This is Colin in their lover era. This is also the episode that is the book title, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Although I don't think Pen does much romancing in this episode. She doesn't have to. That man is gone on her.
She is growing Mr. Bridgerton at this point.
Yeah, she's growing. She's not romancing, she's growing, and
she's being romanced.
And I think she knows it. There's scripting that makes me believe she knows it. And there's
do we notice some scripting reminiscent of season 1?
Oh, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And there's also there's a little homage to Book Colin that I can't wait to talk about. in this scene, and there is a huge glaring non-scripted, completely just the structure of the scene and how it is played out that tells us that Colin has been looking for Penelope and definitely saw her for a long time, long before season 3. And I don't know if we'll get much further than that because I have so much in that room going on.
I think from my notes, I've got basically from the interaction between Penelope and Colin, the interaction between Cressida and her family, and then if we get there, a little tidbit on the Mondricks as well. But depends on how filtered we are today.
Well, and we both told each other before we started recording that we both have some new revelations that we saw.
I'm like, what do you got? And Patty's like, God. But neither
just
of us
making sure they're different, which they are.
They are different. It would have been really if they were the same. Because you've been encroaching on my territory lately on flowers. So I was like, oh, is Patty been searching up my flowers?
No. Patty literally only had 20 minutes to watch. That's why most of my notes are from the drawing room scene. A Featherington drawing room, but I decided to take, because it is so, like, a lot of visuals in that scene are very symmetrical from chandelier to floor in terms of the curtains, the windows, like what they wanted in the picture.
Nose to the wall.
Yeah, what they wanted in the picture. So I started looking around and I noticed some things and was like,
okay, let's jump in to the madness. That is episode 6, because once again, we are bounced all over the show in terms of how many storylines are going on. So episode 6 jumps in with the Ton reacting to the news that Cressida is the Lady Whistlebaaawn, and we get some of the most iconic
best lines. And do you know, like, everybody's talking about it, but who actually spread the gossip?
Okay, you, who?
The old nosy guy who had the young wife.
Oh,
he at the line when the nice debs, because the nice debutantes are separated from the snooty debutantes beginning scene. I don't know if you noticed.
Yes.
And it looks like the nice debutantes as mamas have all become friends as well. And we actually get a visual on Miss Kenworthy's mama for the first time, I believe, like a real good look at her. But when the young girls are talking and they're like, I hope she would report on my betrothal. I hope she would report on my dress. The very next scene, when Miss Berrigan goes, Cressida Cowper, the person she's looking at and saying that to is old nosy guy from the engagement party, and he is just a grinning. He gets to spread all the gossip. So excited.
And that he is no longer super relevant. So he's like, oh my Lord, I've got all these young women, like they're coming to me for the gossip. Like,
oh yeah, we know he likes them young. His wife is young. His wife is young, so he's talking to the young one. Yeah. But he gets to be the center of attention, and he loves it. And I just want to say, you know, because especially with what Benedict said about Whistledown and how the men try and act like gossip is a woman's thing. In this season, we have Lord Marcus Anderson, and we do not know this lord's name, so I'm going to keep calling him Old Nosy Guy. Yeah. The men are the ones spreading the gossip this season. The men. Women talk about it like they're reporting news. Like, I wanted her to report my new dress. I wanted her to report my betrothal. Like it's their newspaper. And the men are like, ooh, but did you know?
Bridgerton. Let's see if I can find his name.
I like calling him Old Nosy Guy. Don't ruin my fun.
Hey, but all you know, that could very well be his name.
Sir Old Nosy Guy.
They have updated their... I don't vibe with that at all, people. And Betty,
what?
As it can be confirmed, what Dee posted that season 5.
Eloise is season 5.
Is that actually confirmed?
I haven't been able to check Netflix. I've been super damn busy. But Dee in the Bridgertons group is the one who posted it. So, and she's the head admin of the group.
Yeah. So I presume if she's posted it, that it is.
Yeah.
Verified, I would hope so.
And I haven't been on TikTok to see if Ainsley has or not, because usually Ainsley won't post anything unless she's confirmed it. So,
all right, Mrs. Barley. No, that's an interesting hairdo, Mrs. Barley. Philippa Finch, because there shouldn't actually be a huge amount of cast for episode 5, because was
Are you looking IMDb?
Yeah.
You're trying to find old nosy guy's
I
name?
think his name is Lord Holly.
Lord Holly. Because he didn't actually have a line, so he may not be credited. He only laughed in the engagement party. He didn't actually say anything.
How we were talking about doing our you know how we were talking about doing our how many shots for YouTube?
Yes.
I was just going through the other day and going through all the lords and like putting them in, and that name portrayed by Clive Francis. Yes, Lord Holly. Yeah, yes.
Funny, he's got a female name and he's a gossip.
Well, he is Holly. Holley. Holley. Now, where are we? Zoom.
I bet him and not Basilio. What's the other lord's name?
Remington.
I bet Lord Holly and Lord Remington hang out on the sidelines.
Bring back my notes. Don't you dare move. Okay, so remind me of her name, Miss Hardigan. I love how I'm like, tell me her name. Tell you, Miss Hardigan has one of the most iconic lines, calling Cressida a backbiter. I actually did of looking into a lot of the wording and phrasing that was used in this episode, and a backbiter is a person who secretly or maliciously speaks ill of another person who is not present,
which they're all doing, but not
ironic.
Yeah. Except for the nice ones aren't. So yes, she calls her a blonde backbiter, which, and it's pretty much true.
Is a dirty blonde backbiter.
The table of snooties, which is the what's her name? Miss Kensington, Miss Goring, Miss Stowell, and the other girl. There's a fourth. She doesn't say anything, but they actually get
Malhotra.
I thought Miss Malhotra was with. It was Lady Miss Kenworthy, Miss Hardigan, and Miss Malhotra was there. So I don't know who the other one is. I'm missing one. Anyway,
caught in the closet with Fife.
No, that was Goring. He was the one who said, because I found it interesting. The reason I find it interesting, where she said it makes total sense, is because the ball where she was in the closet with Fife was the Featherington ball, and I don't remember Cressida being there, not being like visible anyway. And I could see where she'd be like, that makes total sense, because she didn't see Cressida there either. And she got away with it. We never heard about Goring in a closet in Whistledown, or any Whistledown we heard. So Pen was, going through some stuff that night and totally slipped her purview. So it didn't make it in. And I can see where Miss Goring would be like, it makes total sense. And
for your factual information, your fact checking, the saying came about between 1150 and 1500. So they were correctamundo in using this terminology this time. One time.
Well, I'm sorry. Like, as a citizen of the U.S. and I know blonde backbiter, I believe, came first. But every time I watch that scene now, I think of the political theater that goes on in our country, and how a certain House representative got called, a butch, like blonde butch body something. I'm gonna mess it up, but yeah, every time I see that now, I think of that.
My favorite ones is people getting described as Cheeto dust.
Wow. But no, one House representative called another House representative a big blonde butch body. Yeah. And I always think of blonde backbiter, but it's just the alliteration.
Yeah. Okay, so we basically moved from Miss Emma Kenworthy being an absolute queen supporting queens. And the scene kind of then jumps to Penelope in her bed writing. And
that's the first time we see Lord Cho and Miss Kenworthy together. And they disagree.
And probably the only one who's actually in support of, as a male, in support of, apart from Remington, but that's different.
No, Lord Cho says hellborn.
He says that very much in a, like, I thought he said it in kind of like a respectable way.
No, because Miss Kenworthy is like, I think she's a genius. Like, he's saying, like, she's terribly, like Miss Kesig saying she's terrible brought up or whatever. He looks down his nose, which fits, because it ties him into the Lord Squad, because the Lord Squad does not like Whistledown, right? So, and actually, where we don't have Colin really hating Whistledown until season 3, That could be part of his trying to fit in with the Lord Squad, because they really didn't like Whistledown.
Yeah. So the Whistledown article, well, not quite, because she screws it up and throws it away multiple times, but it's a reiteration of this initial article. I will not insult the devil by drawing parallels between him and Cressida Cowper. For one is a liar, a fraud, a succubus of the first water, and the other is not known to this author. Now, succubus of the first water, for starters, is a tie back to the very first Bridgerton episode ever, which is titled Diamond of the First Water.
Yep.
We all know what a succubus is. So like, like she is the succubus to Daphne's diamond, which that's a blow to start with. Secondly, so basically like succubus of the first water means like a succubus of the finest quality, but also can mean someone who is as manipulative as they come, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, she's the succubus of all succubuses.
Yes. So I was quite I really laughed at that line, because I was like, well, like that's a slap down if I ever heard one.
Well, and the thing is it's perfectly written. And this gives you an insight into Pen's personality. I think it's glaring to me. It may not be to other people, but she writes the most scathing thing directed at someone. She calls her a succubus. She is the succubus of all succubuses, and she equates her to the devil.
Yes.
And she can't even...
He's saying that the devil's got nothing on Cressida Cowper.
Yeah, she can't even publish it. She crumples it up and throws it away because Pen cannot be that cruel. Everything she has put out in Whistledown, other people are perceiving as cruel. But now we learn that Pen can't write cruelty and let it go. Like, she could not publish that. Well, no matter how mad she is.
She does, though, because this is a direct quote from the book Penelope, Lady Whistlebaaawn.
Yes. Book Penelope is very scathing about Cressida, but when show Penelope finally writes the Whistledown, it's more admonishment and less cruelty. When she saves the Bridgertons from Cressida's mom's crap, it's more an admonishment, kind of like a mother chastising a child, than this. This was straight up animosity, and she just couldn't do it. She crumples it up like, nah, I can't even be that mean.
Keep in mind, like 1800s in the UK was an extremely religious place to be.
Yeah.
So to equate someone to being worse than the devil, like you may as well just tie them to the witch's post right now.
And it tells you a lot about her integrity, too, because crumpling that up, she is saying, no, Cressida is like this. I will not be. She's not going to stoop to Cressida's level. So, as much as she probably wants, he doesn't.
Sometimes like you just need to get your feelings out, but you don't want to actually say it to anyone. So you write it down, you burn it. You've gotten it out of your system.
Yeah,
you
it's feel journaling.
Better. Yeah. Makes you feel better. So anyway, so this is when Portia comes in and lets Penelope know that she has a visitor. Before Pen enters the room, Colin looks so worried.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the fact that Portia had to go and tell Pen she has a visitor. Where's Ray? Where's Ray at? We don't see Ray again until she is a housekeeper at the new Colin Bridgerton and Mrs. Colin Bridgerton's house. She would have been the one to come tell her she had a visitor, yet she's no longer present. And Portia had to do it. I just had to get that in there because in my notes I just have, where's Ray? She got promoted.
I know that they're trying to like push this whole narrative of Portia wanting to do it herself because she's been supportive of her daughter and wants to build that connection, but
Ray is gone. Ray is gone, and I don't think Portia could have sat in the room alone with Colin for very long because she knows Colin knows about the fraud. She's like, oh, you're here for Pen? I'll go get her. But as we come into the room, we'll talk about Colin in a second, but let's talk about, this is the most food that has been in Featherington drawing room since Lady Cowper was in it in season 1.
And you know what I think it is? Portia believes that in tying herself to the Bridgertons, she's about to come into money again.
Yeah, because she has fruit, like citrus fruit and everything, which in England was very expensive at the time. But also, I think it pays homage to book Colin. Like Colin shows up and Pen goes to the butler, hey, bring sandwiches, because he's always hungry. So I think that he came and Portia's like, let's bring the man some food, you know? So I think that was like an homage to, because nobody expected visitors. The two sisters are gone and Pen has taken to her bedroom. So, and we don't know exactly how long this has been. It could be the next day. I think I've always pictured it and thought of it as the next day, but it could be a couple of days. We don't know from the engagement party.
Sorry, Anne just messaged and found some New Zealand stamps amongst her dad's collection.
Aww.
Which is really sweet. So as soon as we're done recording here, I'll go look up what they are. My brain's completely farted on where we were.
And we're all rallying behind you. We're thinking about you right now.
Yeah.
I've been. It looks like, and she's posting all these pictures. It looks like he had a very, very full life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're really, really sorry to hear about your loss. I haven't lost a parent, but I did lose my granddad last year. We were really close, and I know just the hole that it leaves in your life, not to mention the amount of, people don't really talk about the amount of work that it takes when someone passes and you're trying to grieve this person, but you're so busy that it's overwhelming. Like, in a way, it not have to get through the grief, but it helps you focus on anything but the grief because you're so busy.
It helps you avoid it for a while.
Avoid it, but then it hits, and when it hits, it hits.
Yeah. And I'm an orphan, so I've lost them both.
Hopefully, I still have my parents for a long time to come.
I hope so too.
I can't hedge my own hedges on my own. I'm tired. Dad, come home.
No, you can't. You can't get your own coffees. What the hell?
I know. I said to my parents, I'm like, do you understand how bankrupt you've made me going away for 2.5 months? I can't afford this.
Our bank account is so low because I was not gifted my parental coffee.
I've already sucked my dad. He has already agreed to take Ezra to Bunnings as soon as he gets back, and Ezra gets to pick out whatever Christmas decoration he wants. And I know that he already has his eyes on I think it's about a 6-foot a brachiosaurus with a Christmas hat in Christmas lights.
Oh wow. I saw a Christmas decoration today. Somebody has a blow up Santa riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. So it's whether he goes for the T-Rex with the Christmas hat or the Brachiosaurus is yet to be seen. I will post photos when I know what we're getting. And I just hear my mum in the background be like, stop making promises.
So back to the Featherington drawing room. Like there's
I don't know. I don't see any Brachiosauruses in their living room. That's a bit boring. What can you see in their living room?
Well, if we go back and we think back to a mythical creature that we discussed previously pertaining to Tilly in her home, which was the Sphinx, I spied several sphinxes.
With your little eye?
Yeah, with my horribly old eyes. I had to go to cap that to be sure I was right. I had to go to cap that where I could blow up the picture because on Netflix it won't let you span the screen on your phone. So I had to go to cap that to look. But I was looking around the room because I noticed that the cinematography, like the camera.
Can we just take a moment for that? Netflix, $1 million idea for you. Please let us zoom in.
Yeah.
Sincerely, you're blind. You're blind.
Your older blind audience, please let us expand and zoom in. And so I'm looking around the Featherington drawing room and noticing a few things. Like one, which we'll get to the thought process behind later. Colin is not sitting where Compass sits. He is sitting where Penelope sits.
No one puts baby in the corner.
And when he stands up to greet her, he is in the center window. It's like a perfectly symmetrical picture, and they zoom out so they can catch Pen in the corner of the picture. And so from chandelier at the top to the 3 windows, all open perfectly the same. There is an oil painting, 2 oil paintings on each side facing each other. Like the frame is very perfectly symmetrical. So I'm like, I want to look at this because it's obviously like they're doing it like a tableau, right? Yeah, like it's its own painting. This is a tableau. What are they wanting us to see? And the Sphinxes, I'm not sure if that they're wanting us to see those. I mean, we know Featherington House is a set. It is a built set. It is not an actual house out there in the world. Tilly's spaces, I believe, were an actual English home. Manor house or whatever. But so I was looking at the oil paintings, looking at not nary a candle lit. They're relying on the sunlight and they don't even have the curtain. The curtains are open prettily.
Who needs light when you have a sunflower in the sun in the room?
And the sunlight is only on that sofa. And I just want to point out, I'm really looking at it. Like the company seating is ornate, very ornate. The arms, the front of the arms of the chairs and the legs are sphinxes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sphinxes standing guard. So they're like, when we talked about sphinxes before, we talked about it being a riddle. Like, there's two different versions of sphinxes, actually. There's Greek and then there's Egyptian. And both are considered like guardians. Greek sphinxes are the ones that kind of fit here, in my opinion, because they're depicted as merciless, head of a woman, body of a lion, and they play with their prey before they kill and eat them. From the Oedipus story.
Very Portia.
So very Portia. And I was thinking, I went back and I looked at Tilly's sphinxes that were on her wallpaper, and hers are in repose. They're laying down. So I take that as like Tilly's very comfortable with who she is. She created who she is, right? Mm-hmm. This is her personality. This is who she is, and she's comfortable with that. Portia, in the Featherington drawing room, those sphinxes are on guard. They are standing up. They are at attention, wings, out. And I kind of see that as guardians, like they are on guard. And Portia has become this merciless woman who has to make prey of everyone to protect her family by circumstance. Like marrying the man she did, always having to keep them within the ton and keep them within the lifestyle or within the address. I view it like, people wanting to live in Beverly Hills. Like she's trying to get them where they have the most opportunity. And so her sphinxes are all on guard, standing at attention. And, you have this company seating, very ornate, very like this is where Portia wants the company to sit. Two settees across from each other, a couple of chairs, but they're very well kept, very ornate, very rich looking. A lot of, I read that in the Renaissance period, a lot of sphinxes were used in homes for decoration to appear opulent, because prior they were only used in royalty, like royal tomb, to guard over the royal dead, and churches, religious places. So they were brought into English homes as decor to give a sense of opulence, where, kind of like the nouveau riche are choosing to decorate in a way that makes them look rich, but they're not really. And I thought that fit Portia really well. But the sofa that Pen sits on and the one Colin chose to sit in is old. The cushion of it is so thinned out. You can tell it you'd be more plush because the covering is in wrinkles, like huge wrinkles from being sat on so much, from being flattened so much. It's just old. It's comfortable. It's
collagen isn't quite bouncing back the way it used to.
It definitely does not have bounce back. So there's a few reasons a few things I want to say about the furniture for reasons. One, he chose Pen spot. And we know, when I was looking at the journals, that one line of the journal at the end, I believe it said that he wanted to come home to the one from her window watch. So I believe he knew Pen sat in her window. But we also know from the engagement party that he thought she didn't have the same feelings he did. So him choosing that spot tells me that he's had feelings for her, and he's been looking for her. Like he came out and looked for her and knew she sat in that window. Knew it.
The way that I see this as, just because you have feelings for someone doesn't mean you want to be with them or that you think they're a good match per se. It means you feel something, whether that be attraction, affection, love, whatever.
I think he felt like he was not good enough for her because she was the most eligible, and he saw her getting a Lord Devlin.
That's the thing. So even though she may have had a quote unquote crush on him, that she still wanted a more eligible match, and that's why she never let her feelings become more than what they were.
Yeah, if he suspected she had feelings, he knew she was keeping them hidden for a reason. But I just don't think he had any clue, because I saw it out. Somebody had written it kind of like a meme, but not a meme. It was just something they had written about Colin in general. Like, and they put it up against like the church dancing scene, was that Colin couldn't see that Pen loved him because Colin had never seen any other Pen. She always looked at him with love. He just assumed that was her baseline normal. So he couldn't see it. And to me, that makes a lot of sense, because it kind of falls into, those of us who are neurospicy, who sometimes don't catch flirting because we just are thinking they're being nice. We don't know that it's flirting necessarily. But I think like because Penn has always had feelings for him, he only knows that, assumes that's just her being friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But he chose an old, worn out, ratty tatty sofa to sit in. He sat in her spot, and he actually sat. When Debling came to visit, Debling never sat down.
He was uncomfortable there.
He was very uncomfortable there. And Colin was sitting. I mean, granted, he was worried, but he was sitting too. But I also think he might have chosen that spot. He knew Penn sat over there a lot, but Penn never sat there when he visited. She sat over in the company seating with, aside from the table the one time, but when he was entertaining Marina, she was over there too.
Mm-hmm. So I see it in a few ways. Firstly, I think he wants to sit in the spot that he knows that she is most comfortable. Yes. I think he has lived across from her for enough years that he knows that's her spot. Secondly, I think he likes to bask in the sunlight as well. Like he loves, he loved being in Greece and Cyprus and like basking in the sun over there. He's like, I need my sunshine. This is where Penelope's sunshine is. I'm going to sit in her sunshine. Like he is very much a sun chaser, which is why he's the sunflower. And then secondly, it harkens back to what I said about Debling giving the fern and how the fern required little sunlight to survive and little attention to survive. And then we have the complete opposite, which is Colin, who basks in the sunlight.
And basks.
You alive?
I'm choking on rice. I sucked it down my windpipe. But he basks in Penelope's attention. He doesn't know how to survive without it.
No. So I think that the placement of Colin here is very, very fitting.
And I also think partially it's because he entertained Marina in the company seating.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to court Penelope in the same spot.
Okay. Are you done with your meeting? Because this is a perfect transition for me now. But I didn't want to take your moment if you
Are you going into your flowers?
Into my flowers. So super, super ironic that Debling gave her a fern, especially because I'm actually looking at right at this very moment outside my window. Very ironic that he gave her a fern, which requires little attention, little sunlight, basically just give it the bare minimum and it will survive. Because you will see Penelope enters into the seating room in one of her most spectacular dresses, in my opinion.
Yes.
It is this just absolutely perfection shade of blue on her. And it's adorned with purple flowers. What kind of purple flowers, might you ask? Did Tash put them into Google and search through all the different flower options until she came up with the right one? Yes, I did. And they were chosen very specifically. She is adorned in a Vanda Carulia orchid, which has some very interesting symbolism. The Vanda, I'm butchering this name, but Carulia orchid, also known as the blue orchid, symbolizes rarity, luxury, elegance, beauty, and uniqueness. Its name comes from the Latin word for sky blue, and its striking appearance is often associated with royalty and respect, making it a symbol of good luck in some cultures. Now, what is that culture, might you ask? The Orchid Republic states that, which is the website which I got all this information about orchids from, that those orchids are a popular gift for new husbands and wives. This is especially true in Chinese culture, where orchids symbolize the unity of a married couple.
Aww.
So I thought the scene in which he presents her with a family ring, and she's wearing this, to me, it's not a coincidence. I think this was very, very specifically chosen. And I do wonder whether one of the dressmakers for this specific prop might have been from Chinese culture. And she's like, hey, I want to tie in a little bit of this cultural heritage into the scene.
Well, and that could be. I also see it as, one, we talk all the time about how Penelope Wallow's dressed to the nine. Yeah. And this is one of her most fabulous dresses.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
But as you said, it's a gift, and it shows the unity of a married couple. Like, this couple is already married. Colin views them he's viewed them as married since he told Portia our Bridgerton name.
I think from the carriage, he's like, yeah, we are married. The rest is just paperwork.
Yeah, don't play semantics with me. We're done. We are it.
I mean, to be honest, I kind of feel the same way for a lot of it. Like, Stephen and I were together for nearly 5 years before we got married, because I was in university and I wanted to finish university before I got married. It's just too much to focus on planning a wedding and uni. So I literally finished in December, and I got married January.
So you still were planning both. You were doing both.
And I had surgery in amongst that too.
Grief. You don't do anything half-assed.
I do not. All aboard the cuckoo train.
But I see it, like, she comes in, he looks worried, and we got to point out, like, he's in practically the same sitting position that he is on the sofa after the morning after the wedding, which depicts he's not angry. Like, he kind of looks broody, but he's worried. Yeah, he is so worried. And he comes in, or she walks in the room. They both, I got it. It's out.
He jumps up. Oh, that's such a good feeling when you get it out.
They both light up, because prior to, like, when he stands up and I was looking at the frame, the room is so dark. No candles are lit. The curtains are not pulled. Like, houses would pull their curtains all the way open to get as much sunlight as possible. And these are just pulled to the side in the middle and tied, which doesn't bring that much light into the room. So the room is dark, but you don't notice it. Once they see each other, they both light up. I mean, literally, even the actors themselves, like, kudos. You lit up the space by showing how happy each of them was to see the other.
Computer parts.
And she forgot she was mad at Cressida. She forgot for a moment, because she saw how happy he was to see her. She forgot she has a secret, right? And she just went to him, like, in her short little leg rushy way, like, this is as fast as I can go. That's all these legs will do in this dress. But yeah.
It was so funny. In the weekend, my step count and Amelie's step count was dramatically different. And she's like, how? And I'm like, I have little legs. It takes me twice as many steps as you to get anywhere.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, when Smaug and I are walking, step count is higher. And I'm like, you're tall. Your gait is so wide compared to mine. I take at least 2 steps to your 1. Sometimes 3 to 4.
Yes. So, this is such a sweet moment, because you know those moments where you're stressed out, everything is like burning around you, and you just get it's like
see your person.
You see your person, and it's just a lifeline, like a little anchor point in the world for you. I mean, and we've talked about this so many times about how, like, they are each other's sun. The gravitational pull is just so great.
And I just thought, like, I'm on Facebook, certain groups like IFL Science, which is I effing love science, and the lighter side of science, things like that, those groups. And they posted how there was a study done, and scientists have determined that us seeing A, the face of our best friend, and B, the face of our person is just like eating comfort food. It's just like, being hugged by your mother. It's like, it does the same things to the brain as all the things that we think about that are comforting, like being held by your mother and stuff like that. Just seeing their face, seeing them appear. And that's what this did for the both of them. They're both stressed out. They're both mad. They're both in their feels for whatever reason. And everything falls away. And all that matters is you're here.
I also think that Penelope has been in her room, not just pondering the whole Whistledown thing, but in her room being like, I have not had my courses. I have this whole Colin, this humongous news that I have not had my courses. How is this going to play out? Like, she's got all these worries, especially after watching what Marina went through. And I think that that's a huge weight on the shoulders of a very young debutante.
Yeah, because we now know that she believes there's a possibility, because she tells him, like, perhaps you should not be here. What I have might be catching.
Which was now harken back to season 1 with the conversation with Marina and Colin.
Well, with Portia, because Pen didn't understand why they couldn't be around Marina. And Portia's like, because what she has is catching.
And what it actually meant was, if you spend too much time around this girl, your morals will become loose.
You will learn how to make a baby. And that it's fun, and then I can't stop you. Much like my mother thinking that if I learned about birth control and women's menstrual health, and I learned about that part of my body, I'd want to use it all of a sudden.
Yeah, I wanted to use mine too, to be in less pain.
Like, it's like you discover it, so that means you have to use it. Like, no, thank you. I would just like to not have this traumatic event at my school. That would be.
I would like to not have to go home midway through the day to change clothes. That would be lovely.
And I would like to not have to think I was going to hell if I wore a tampon so I could go swimming.
Okay. Yeah. So Penelope enters the room in her orchid dress, and Colin jumps up. Like it's like his body is physically like propelled to be close to her.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell just how worried he is, not just about is she going to call it off, it's going to break my heart, but he's just genuinely worried about her because it's not
Because
even
he
like
thinks she's pregnant.
well, but he gives her the out. He's like at no point is he like, but I love you. You have to do this. There is no emotional, like people are like, oh, Colin, there is no emotional manipulation. He's like, hey, like if you regret your choice, if you are not who I like, if I'm not who you choose, I will accept that. Like it's heartbreaking, but it's also beautiful in the way that he's like, you get to choose your own fate. Like I'm not going to force you to marry me.
And even here, he says, I know you have something to tell me, but I will be patient until you are ready to unfold. He loves her openly and unselfish.
Like this is unconditional love, right?
Yes, yes.
And even when he finds out about Cressida, he still loves her. Sorry, not Cressida, Lady Whistledown. Like he still loves. Can't say, oh, it's conditional on her not being Lady Whistledown. He still loves her. He's allowed to be mad. Like people are allowed to have feelings. They're allowed to have reactions. It's about how they cope with those feelings and reactions. Do they make amends? Do they sort through it in a healthy way? Do they yell? Do they scream? Do they hit? Do they drink? Do they cheat? How do they deal with those reactions?
Yeah, when we get to the Modiste, we'll talk about how his reactions there, I think, affected him deeply because he just went for the lips and didn't ask for consent and didn't understand that she was all about it. But yeah, he completely like Penelope gets to have and live her own life. He's just glad to be a part of it.
So this is the point where
they sit holding hands, nose to nose, practically.
that Penelope is trying to hide her hands from him. Which is ridiculous because it seems like poor writing to me because she is a writer. Her and Colin are both writers. He would never link, oh, you've got ink on your hands to maybe your Lady Whistledown. Like Penelope is a reader and a writer. There is so many justifiable reasons why she would have ink and he would never think twice about it. But in trying to hide it, it then becomes a thing.
Well, and we know the Whistledown thing they turned a molehill into a mountain over this thing in season 3.
Yeah.
Because she also wrote him 9 million letters and cannot assume he's the only person she writes letters to.
Like, she could be trying to write a letter to Eloise of like, I love you, let's repair this. Like, there are so many reasons. And even as she says, I was writing to inform people of the good news, which is also very true. Like after you got engaged, you would write to your family to alert them and say, hey, there's a wedding going on.
Yeah, they didn't have the internet where she could just make a Facebook post or an Instagram post and now everyone knows.
So like she would justifiably be having to write to her family if she had any to invite them to the wedding.
Extended family for sure.
The whole hiding the hand thing was just stupid to me. Poor writing in my belief.
Lazy. I won't say poor, I'll say lazy. Let's bring Whistledown to the forefront and bring some drama to a very sweet scene for no reason.
Yes. Which is where Colin basically says, like, she says, oh, this might be catching. And Colin says, there is nowhere else he would rather be. And the look that they give each other just melts me, like, as if, like, they both have these worries, but the second that they look into each other's eyes, like, all is forgotten and all that there is in the world is just each other.
Yeah. And speaking of that, if we remember from episode 1, Colin doesn't even notice that her dress is torn up the whole back of it because she is so beautiful and he loves her. But here he's gonna notice her hands are inky. Like, come on.
And I love that you can tell that they just want to wrap each other's arms like around each other.
He wants to be like, let me show you how to use this sofa.
And then Colin like looks so begrudgingly like Portia's still in the room. Ugh, stupid Portia.
Well, and the thing is he looks at her editorially and
Portia looks guilty.
She looks guilty. And here's why I think she looks guilty. Like, all the memes out there are that, Portia, you've never chaperoned this girl once, and now you're going to try and chaperone her. She's already pregnant. I don't think Portia was trying to chaperone. I think she would have left the room any other time. But she knows that Colin is one of the only people her daughter truly confides in. And she has no idea why she fainted. She's taken to her room again, much like she did before. And she was blindsided when she took to her room and then all of a sudden was engaged. She is trying to eavesdrop and pretending to chaperone to try and
do. Another avenue is Colin basically called her out as being a crappy mum.
Yeah.
You're a shit mum. You've never done as you were supposed to. You never chaperoned your daughter up until now. You've never done what's in her best interest. Where were you? Through all of this, where were you? The slap down that he gave her almost reminded me of if your father were here, he would have organized something with one of his old friends. Basically calling her out like your job in chaperoning your daughter. And so I think now, because Colin gave her such a slap down, that she's like, I better be seen doing as I'm supposed to as a mother.
Yeah, she's still in that mode of, I need Colin's approval. I need to help Pen, because people, let's not forget that Portia underestimates Pen and does not truly understand that Pen got a true love match. So she thinks she's trying to help Pen keep this man until they walk down the aisle. She thinks Pen is going to lose him any moment. So yeah, I buy that too. Like, she's got to make it look good, because Portia's still about the look good right now, and not like hold on, I'm trying to get my massager.
If only the people could see the camera right now.
No, seriously, it hurts. My leg from my hip to my ankle hurt.
Shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
I see physical therapy tomorrow, so we'll find out what's going on for real. Hopefully they tell me what my x-rays said. That'd be great.
Portia absolutely was 100% about appearances rather than actually doing what was in Penelope's best interest. It was just keeping up the appearances of a good mother.
She's like walking around like the Pink Panther. I don't know if you ever watched the Pink Panther cartoon. He was sneaking around. She's walking around like the Pink Panther, like she doesn't know how to do it. Doesn't know where she's supposed to be. And they're just so frustrated with her, like, give us some privacy. We don't want you hearing what we're saying.
Well, because this is when I know we've already touched on this, but I want to reiterate the whole line, the kind of a different part, is Colin explains that he knows Pen is holding something in, but he will be patient. Penelope replies that she cannot speak about it now. And I'm so glad that she actually explains to him that it is nothing to do with him or the wedding. But she could have really been a lot more gentle with his feelings about it, instead of making it kind of a witch hunt about Cressida. Like, how does she not pick up on things like he's now mentioned multiple times to her in their last two interactions? If you have changed your mind, if you do not want to marry me, if I'm not the person, I will understand. And instead of being, no, I love you, it is something separate from that. Instead of giving him any sort of clues that it's nothing to do with him. Like, she says, oh, it's nothing to do with the wedding. But it's like...
Yeah, but they wouldn't have the emotional impact of her getting super excited over the ring. And they wouldn't have the emotional impact of her telling him she's loved him since the day she met him at the church.
I know. It just, I didn't like the way that she phrased it to him. Like, it could have been more emotionally supportive, the response, is all I'm saying. And Colin states that he can't believe that Cressida is Lady Whistledown. Like Penelope is like ruining this moment for herself. But Colin can't believe that Cressida is Lady Whistledown, as she isn't clever enough. And this is like one of those like surprisingly sweet moments, because Pen is just insanely pleased with the compliment, because Colin clearly hates Lady Whistledown.
Yeah.
And so he's only ever spoken vehemently about her. So for Penelope to finally get some sort of, well, I may not like her, but I at least respect her.
Yeah, positive, something positive from him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a backhanded slap or whatever. Like, she's like, clever, you say? I'm clever?
She's like, my man thinks I'm clever.
Yeah. So I actually it's one of those moments that I really actually quite like, because it was the first stirrings that kind of told us that there is at least respect for the craft there.
Yeah. And I also think she has more of a reaction to this. Now, granted, in the mirror scene, she was getting excited that he was, that he found her beautiful, I think, more in that moment. But she didn't really react until he did start talking about her beauty. She didn't react to the brave or the clever. And now
she didn't, because you didn't feel those things.
Yeah, well, now she reacted to the clever. And I think it was still him saying he found her clever, but because he didn't know she was Whistledown and he's still saying it, I think she's like,
he really does think I'm clever.
He really does think I'm clever. And two, Like, you think I'm clever, you think Whistledown's clever, and you haven't figured this out yet? I must be that
Like,
good.
you know how in he's just not that into how she's like, if you could describe me in 3 words, or if you could pick 3 of these things, what would it be? And he's like, sexy, cute, and beautiful. And she's like, no one wants to be all look like, I want to
Yeah.
have substance, you know?
Yeah. They want to be confident, strong,
Independent.
independent. I mean, and Luke Newton's correct about that. When you hear how the person you love thinks about you, like, it's huge.
Mm.
And she's seeing it like he doesn't know he's talking about her. So this is very real feedback, and she just is living in that moment.
Yes, because this is the point in which Colin finally gets at and gives Penelope the family ring that he just had made up, which is a replica of Violet's, because they all have an iteration of Violet's ring.
Yeah, they're all a little different, but they're all similar.
I also love that because it's like each one of them is kind of like their own iteration of the Violet. Like, their love has come from the love that Violet and I was gonna say Anthony. That's a bit weird.
Ew. Edmund.
Violet and Edmund had for each other. Like, they learned how to love through these people, so they want the love that they are giving to this next person to be an iteration of that love.
Yeah, and if we're going to talk about the face that Penn made when he said, I thought she'd be more clever, like the face Colin makes when he goes, I've got something for you, and his jaw goes off to the right a little bit, like so excited to see her respond. Like, I love that. Like, he thinks he's got this, and he's right. Like, he's got this huge surprise, and this is his first like romantic doting husband gift, because he's never given her a gift. He courted Marina and brought flowers and everything else. This is the first and only gift he's ever given to Penn, and he is so excited to do it. I love that face. That is so, like, I don't know if it was on purpose, Luke Newton, but it was adorable.
It was really, really sweet. So Colin leaves, and Penelope is clearly in her happy girl era. And Portia tries so hard to ride that train too, but it is so forced. And like, I'm happy.
I know. I'm happy. I'm happy.
And
let's not skip over the fact that Colin just stalks out and does not acknowledge Portia whatsoever.
And I think Portia's kind of okay with it, because she's like, yeah, I did that.
She's like, I am so done faking it, but she fakes it for Penn for a few more seconds. Like, this is so great. No, it's not. This is awful for me.
And she, like, I imagine if we got like an internal monologue, she's like, I'm smiling, right? I'm smiling. My face is upright, right? It's not grimacing.
Yeah.
It's a smile.
Is this a good smile, or do I look like my hip hurt?
It definitely looks like her hip hurt. She looks unhinged.
She's definitely trying to give what she sees. I think she still kind of thinks Penelope's living in a fantasy land, and that this is going to blow up in their faces. Blows up in her face.
It's kind of ironic, because the scene then cuts to Penelope standing in her room alone. And like, at first she's like happy in love, and then the like endorphins of his visit kind of come crashing down. And it's the first time that I think that she is considering whether she may have to choose between Colin or being Lady Whistledown. Like, you can see it, like, just like the high of it just coming crashing down, and reality is coming back in. And she's like, that's what I'm potentially gonna lose. Like, I have all of that, and to fly so close to the sun, and then that's what I have to lose.
Yep. And I think that moment, especially for me, because I never thought I would be the traditional wife. And with her already having a career, I think it came crashing in on her what thought Colin was expecting in a wife, because she saw who Violet was as a mother, not necessarily as a wife to Edmund, but as a mother and head of the home. She sees how Kate is with Antony being a wife. And she saw what her mother had to do, which is swallow a lot of her personality to be a wife. And she's watching her sisters be wives and, coddle their husbands, and she finds that excruciating to watch. And now she's looking at this ring like, ew, it's going to be me, kind of like, do I have to be that kind of wife? Do I have to be doting? And do I have to say he's smart when he's not? And do I, that never was me. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you just to make you feel good. I hope your ego's stronger than that. And that's what I'm worried. Like, not worried about with her. I think that's what she's thinking. Like, I may potentially lose my livelihood. I may lose the thing that I love about myself the most. I'm going to lose a big part of myself. And then I'm going to have to spend years making a man feel good.
I don't think it's ever, I personally don't think it's anything to do with that sort of thing. I do think it's I'm worried about having to give up the one part of myself that I actually like.
Yeah.
Because I think Penelope has so much self-doubt and anxiety, and she's very self-depreciating. And I think that Lady Whistledown is the one part of herself that she's proud of, and it's such a big part of the very little confidence that she does have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I don't think it's anything to do with having to like lie to Colin and build him up when she doesn't believe in him, because I think Penelope is so far in the Colin Delulu that she thinks that man walks on sunshine. She thinks he is sunshine incarnate. So I think having to say nice things to him, and that it's not like her dad, where her mum and dad hated each other and her mum had to say things that she didn't believe in. Penelope actively believes in Colin. So I don't think those things are ever going to come hard to her, because she always believes the best in him. And even once she does kind of see Colin for his, like, with his flaws and all, I think she still absolutely believes in him.
Yeah.
She just gives him the time and space. I think she sees him as a little bit more human, and she learns, hey.
I mean, she's only seen marriages that, aside from, because she never did witness Edmund and Violet. So she's only seen marriages of convenience, marriages of stability, marriages of security. And I think for a moment here, she wondered if this was the best it was going to get, almost like, because she's seen all these marriages just look terrible down the road.
Well, and on that note, let's jump into our next conversation of the day, which is Lord Cowper berating Cressida over her failed marriage, her failed proposal 3.
But let's be fair, this one needed to happen.
Yes, but Prince Friedrich, so close. To be fair, I actually don't think I would have hated Jack and Cressida together. I think they would have made for some very interesting hijinks in the town. I think they would have been terrible for each other in the regard that they're never going to encourage each other to be better, but it would have been quite comical.
They would have been a Cowper, Portia, Alfred, and yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it would have been interesting. And hey, who knows? Maybe their love for each other would have blossomed them into kind of era.
Jack just left. He didn't disappear. He didn't die. Like, Debling dies. He goes to Northwest Passage. We are sure he's dead, or going to be dead.
Yeah.
Unless he didn't get to go.
I think he went. So Lord Cowper is berating Cressida on how she ruined her match to Lord Gruyere, and that he has rescinded his offer. Cressida looks so insanely pleased with herself. Like, my plan is all coming together. Like, I'm cleverer than I thought. I'm more than I thought. Like,
yeah.
This is the lines from Lady Danbury in the book. Like, more than I thought. I don't know why, but it just reminds me when Penelope in the book is like walking through Grosvenor Square, like doing her little dance. I'm more than I thought. All I can think is Winnie the Pooh. Like, it just seems like a scene from Winnie the Pooh. Like, I'm more than I thought.
Winnie the Pooh had so much inner monologue that he just said out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because Winnie the Pooh also has like the little legs and that. Just gave me those. But she'd be Piglet, to be fair, because she's so tiny, the stature, like, compared to everyone else, like little leggies.
But I also think this was like a reaffirming thing for Cressida, that she was on the right path of her plan, even though, and there's a certain kind of affirmation this is. It's not, her plan is not going well, because this will affect how she can proceed.
Yes.
But to her, because, step 1 of her plan came to fruition, she no longer has to marry Greer. She was not thinking about
any other marriage, as Colin said.
Yeah, she was not thinking about how that was going to, she didn't think about how it was going to affect her parents, or how they were going to view her, or any of that. Like, because being locked in her room is 10 times worse almost than being married to an old man.
Cressida is very much a make decision, like a snap decision. Whatever's she's got no, what is the term?
She's like my son. Whatever benefits her in that moment, is the decision she makes.
She's got no, what do you call it? Like not
Forethought.
impulse control. Not well, yeah, forethought, but like delayed gratification. She's got zero delayed gratification. It's whatever's going to get her that good feel right now, whatever's going to get her out of that situation right now, and no forethought to how that instant gratification is going to have repercussions. But very interestingly, Lord Greer says this is no call to smile, girl. And that if she thinks she's going to keep working, and he says working like it is like the words girl and working are like spat, like he's disgusted. Like the thought of a woman
the gentry were men of leisure. To be leisurely was the height of fashion.
It wasn't even her being Lady Whistledown. It was the fact that she was working in the town. Like the way that he says it almost equates it to her being like working in a brothel, which is quite interesting because Penelope's wording about calling her a succubus and then him calling his daughter a working girl, which a working girl in today's terminology would generally refer to a prostitute. And to him, in his mind, it's probably doing the same thing because he's like,
woman working, yeah.
This is so far below us. Like you have shamed us by working. Like it's an embarrassment to the family. Like he's more obsessed about that than the fact that she's Lady Whistledown, which you can tell that he also knows nothing about his daughter, that he even thinks that she is mildly capable of being Whistledown. Because as much as her mum and Eloise are patronizing, they're also not really wrong about their deductions on her intelligence when it comes to her quick-witted observations. Like they're not wrong, they're just bitches for saying it.
Well, and I don't know about that.
They said the things that you think in your head, but they said the quiet part out loud and say.
Yeah, I think her mother is a little more cruel. Eloise is literally just saying like,
Eloise doesn't say
I value that in a friend. Like, I've had multiple conversations with you where I even ask you after, like, are you saying that because you think that's what I want to hear? Or is that really what you think? Like, I want to hear the truth. If I'm being delusional, please let me know.
I'm also delusional.
Yeah, I mean, and I will tell you, like, no, I just need 5 more minutes. I need 5 more minutes in my delusion, please, and then you can let it shatter. But like, I am a Pisces. When do I
ever shatter the illusion? I'm like, here's some sparkle to add to your delusion.
Here's some glitter dust. Let's freshen that up a little bit.
I'm Tinkerbell.
Right. But like my best friend Carol Lee, the one I just recently went to visit, she and our friendship is based on that. Like we do not hold back. We tell each other the truth. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to hear, but it still is true. Like she says sometimes how slow I move, just you can't handle it. And with my body, I'm slow.
I must say, I'm super impatient. And as much as I'm a chunky monkey, I also move rather fast for my little legs.
Oh, I moved very fast. I just don't anymore.
Yeah.
And it's been very hard for me to accept that about myself. But, and she said that, and like her kids are looking at me like, oh my gosh, well, how is she going to react? And I'm just like, what? It's true.
That was a truth. But
like, I get it. And I have no problem saying stuff about like, she's like, why did you leave early? I'm like, because I was about to get sick. I was on the getting sick.
I was, while I was at Castle Hill, because Castle Hill is, as I said, looks very Lord of the Ringsy. You would absolutely love it there. But I was like, as I was walking, I was like, is this Patty accessible?
Yeah, no. As much as I would love to be there. I mean, as long as everybody either understands, like, I'm going to be slow and they can go on ahead, they can sit on a bench and wait for me, if there's cell phone service so I can go, I've fallen and I can't get up.
It's all relatively flat. There is a few steps.
I'm willing to, I hiked in Belize. I'm willing to try anything as long as I can do it at my own pace.
I will send a request, and a super inappropriate request to Smog. Can I please have a picture of your butt? What's this for? I just need it to lure. I'll put it on a fishing rod.
The thing is, it doesn't even have to be naked. Put him in some slacks. I follow that anyway.
I will print it out on an A4, stick it to my butt, and walk ahead of you.
Hey, you'd be surprised. There is a large percentage of my life that followed that around because he's a fast walker and I'm not.
I'm also a fast walker, so I will be your motivation.
literally the last cruise we went on, I told him, he was like, I walk fast. I'm like, I know, I'm not new.
I enjoy the view. It's fine.
I'm like, just wear something that makes your butt look good. That's how I used to get through it back in the day. Matters to me. As long as I got a good view, I'm happy.
Yeah. So let's cycle back away from dragon butts to just mean dragons. So Lord Greer yelling at Cressida.
Cowper.
You can tell Cowper, my bad.
This probably what Lord Greer would look like married to Cressida, though. For real.
Yes. So Lord Cowper is yelling at Cressida. You can tell by the way that she shies away from him that she is used to him getting physical with her. And she's just waiting for him to take it there.
Yep.
But instead, he tells her that she's going to live with her Aunt Jo. And you can tell by her reaction that this is a worser is definitely a word, a worser, we're running with it, punishment.
Poetic license.
Like, I feel like she would have preferred the beating than to go live with Aunt Jo.
Yeah, she would have preferred being married to Lord Greer.
Potentially, but yeah, man, same. You know what? I feel like Lord Greer and Aunt Jo would have been a perfect match for each other. Let's just like hook that up.
Yeah.
Except Lord Greer is probably too old for Aunt Jo as well.
Well, and Aunt Jo can't have any babies at this point, I don't think.
I mean, they can try.
I think the peanut gallery needs to go potty. One moment, please.
Oh, are you ready for the greatest Lady Whistlebaaaaawn entry you've ever heard?
Well, I heard it, but she crumpled it up. But go ahead.
So I absolutely chuckled when Cressida exclaims that Aunt Jo lives in Wales, and he says, exactly, you can write gossip about the sheep. So I decided to write gossip about the sheep.
Okay, I'm ready.
Dearest gentle reader, today Sir Isaac, a particularly rowdy, badger-faced Welsh mountain sheep, decided to try his luck with the coy and youthful Kerry Hill sheep, a match the likes of Wales has never seen before. Yours truly, Lady Whistlebaaaaawn. Did I look up Welsh sheep native to that? Yes, I did. Accuracy, of course. We write nothing but facts here.
Lady Whistledown does nothing but the truth.
Lady Whistlebaaaaawn.
Kerry Hill sheep.
So much fun writing that last night. I was like,
we're so easily amused. I'm just like, I love us.
Like, when you get someone such a good present that you want to tell them about it now, like this is like, I'm like, must not tell her to it's on. Like, I need to tell someone, but I can't.
No, that was, and the kind of week I had, that's like the perfect, like I gotta laugh. That's so good. That's so good.
My childish humor knows no bounds.
But and we could go like with the Whistledown route, try and say like thinking somebody is a wolf. With what would the sheep name be for Fife?
I could write an entire article about the scandals of the sheep of Wales.
Yeah, so good.
So Lord Greer leaves the room, and the Araminta tells Cressida, why have I written Greer everywhere? Oh my lord!
You were writing notes late at night.
I
noticed I listened to our podcast that dropped yesterday for quality assurance purposes, and I kept calling Anthony Benedict.
Yeah, that's okay. I say the all the time, and then I listen to it and I'm like, oh, I hope people don't think that I think that's what it is, because I know better. It just comes out.
Yeah. I just think we're like parents with several children. You know how you end up yelling a different name?
Yeah. I call Stephen Ezra and Ezra Stephen all the time.
My parents used to go, my mom literally would be like, Patricia, Melinda, Robert, Freddie. Like, she would not realize who she intended. And then she goes down the list of names she can recall at the moment till she gets to the one she needs. And we all just come.
Yeah. So Lord Cowper, one grumpy old fart, leaves the room, and Araminta tells Cressida that she needs to take the statement. We'll tell her that Lady... I love how she tries to throw Violet under the bus as if she's the bad influence here. But, like, obviously, Violet's predisposition for drinking is starting to precede her. Wines, one too many wines. And Cressida questions why her mother does not believe her. Like, instant. Like, there's not even a question, is it you? No. She knows her daughter better than that. And she says, I know my daughter. And I thought that this was going to be going to go in a more wholesome direction than kind of what I was like, oh, she knows you. But this is Araminta we're talking about. So of course, instead, she just insults her daughter's intelligence in the most cruel of ways. Like as a teacher, the amount of times that I have said to my students, everyone has their own special brand of intelligence. While you may be one thing, another person's got another thing. Like we all have our special talents in life. And she took that sentiment and crumpled it to the ground and is like, you're dumb. You dumb loser. Like instead of it making it like a you have many wonderful skills. You are funny, you are this, you are that, you're stylish, so many wonderful skills. It is said in the most patronizing way, like, oh my sweet summer child. It could never. You are not that girl.
Like you have certain personality traits, but cleverness is not them. Can't even say like you have so many great special qualities, like something good. No, she says you have certain like it's just middle of the road. Like it's you.
It was cruel for my like.
Well, and after getting yelled at by your father and then being emotionally and confident, your confidence belittled by your mother. I think this scene of all of them, mausoleum drawing room, like kicking out her visitor, not allowing her friend. I mean, even locking her in a room. This scene alone tells us what her whole life has been like.
Yeah. Because in a moment, like I do understand when your kids do something that's really wrong. And I don't leaving milk on the bench and not putting it away wrong. I mean, knock someone up, stolen a car, like truly like, hey, this could have been better. I do understand that consequences must be had, but that wasn't a consequence.
No.
And I feel like it was Araminta saying to her daughter, remember how I've always told you, trust no one, believe in no one is your friend. This is Araminta's reminder of you are now affecting my standing in society. So I'm going to remind you, we are not friends.
Yeah.
Affect my standing. You will not affect the way that I live my life, who I'm friends with, how people see me. You have now done that. So I'm going to punish you for it. It's not a consequence, it's a punishment. Oh, I did not love that. One little bit. I mean, Cressida has so many things wrong with her, granted. Like, so I'm not defending some of her actions of the past, but I think this scene actually gave me a lot more insight and empathy into Cressida because of how her parents both reacted. Like, they both are very, very not manipulative, like not just cruel, but they are abusive.
Yeah.
Just in very different ways. So she's not just getting she's getting the physical and emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And then to just top it all off, this is when the Queen's Guard comes into the living room to summon Cressida to the Queen. Only now, when they are in the living room and her mum's looking at her like, really, girl? Like, is it kind of dawning on Cressida that this lie could have consequences? Like, her mum and dad's consequences are one thing. Like, I think she lives in this little fairyland that like I could change their mind, or it's not going to be as bad as it is. But when the Queen's Guard comes in, she's like, oh, this has consequences, and it's only just now dawning on her.
Yeah.
And speaking of consequences to define the Queen, we've got, I think, just enough time that we can squeeze in the Mondricks and Lady D's interaction, because Lady D is visiting the Mondrick family, and she's very pleased to learn that Will and Alice are selling the club. And although there's not really a lot to kind of bite into in this instance, because it is kind of a little bit of a throwaway scene in a way, I kind of wanted to touch on it for two parts. Firstly, I love that Will and Alice instinctually, like when Will is going to say the words, we are selling the club, that they instinctually like both reach out hands, like to hold hands. And I know it's a really hard thing for Will to do. And so Alice just naturally supports him having to say it for the first time. Like, do you know when you say something for the first time, like you've discussed it, but when you tell someone else, real. And she knows how hard that is. So for starters, she holds out his hand and is like, I'm here, I'm supporting you, we're doing this together, I will support you through this. I thought that was a really, really kind of sweet moment.
Yeah. And this says so much to me about Will's character, because even though she left the decision to him, she left him to make his own decision, he still acknowledges the club was both of theirs.
That was my second part. I love that he says, we are selling the club in a time at which women could not essentially own anything. He's saying this is equally ours. We came to the decision together. We discussed this. Alice at no point says, you were selling the club, you were doing this, you were doing that. At no point does he say, I'll do what I want. I'm the man. They discuss.
Well, he kind of says it when he says, they're not the one, I'm not the one who, whatever. What did he say? Yeah.
But I still like they have a very, very healthy discourse of disagreement. We disagree on this thing. We both say our part without yelling about it, without screaming, without hurting each other in order to get our point across. We each have said how our feelings are on the matter, and we have come to a natural conclusion in which we will support each other in.
Yeah, I think that because side stories play into the main story, I think we see Will and Alice are supposed to represent in this season what Colin and Penelope will look like in their future.
Well, I actually think it's more Benedict and Sophie, because Sophie's going to be outside of the town. They were outside of the town. And it's going to show us kind of a little insight into how the town is potentially going to react to Sophie's elevation from working class and like the lowest working class. She's not a lawyer. She's not a doctor. She's not one of the second son, third sons, more
right,
acceptable working class. This is working class.
Is worse than, Will and Alice were business owners, so they were kind of viewed differently. Yes, they were expected to give it up when they became part of the town, but Sophie worked for a gentry family.
Yes.
That's worse.
Question for you. What do you think would have been considered to be of lower standing in society? An opera singer / entertainer like Sienna, who was known to entertain, or a house who, to some degree, were way more protected?
Well, it's not about being protected. I will tell you flat out, because most of the gentry felt like they were who they were and got where they were because it was divine right. They were they were divinely chosen to be better than other people.
Well, and Will and even Alice even say that, like, they didn't do anything to get where they were. They were just plucked, like.
Yeah. The gentry would view a servant elevating as an abomination.
Yes.
Over anyone choosing to work. And truthfully, Sienna, as an opera singer and as a courtesan, I mean, she wasn't really a courtesan. She wasn't like a working woman for money. She just was kept by men. She was a mistress. Yeah. She was a professional mistress.
Yes.
And mistresses were allowed. So she would have been more accepted had she entered society, I think, especially on the arm of someone like Antony Bridgerton.
Well, I tend to think maybe not, because her reputation preceded her as being not just a mistress to Antony, but that she was open for business, sort of thing.
Well, she's a professional mistress. She went from dude to dude, but she was kept. Yeah. She didn't like entertain two men at the same time, kind of. Like, Antony, she was Antony's, and when he walked away because he had to, she found somebody else because she had bills to pay. She needed to be cared for, as women did in that time, and they could only do what they could do based on the station they were in.
But you know what I find funny? That she's just disappeared. Like, we don't see her, but she would theoretically still be like, this is just the magic of Bridgerton. She
disappeared. The prince disappeared. Debling disappeared. The dog disappeared.
The prince disappearing makes more sense because he would have gone back to Prussia. And Edwina disappearing makes sense.
He could go anywhere too.
Like, Edwina disappearing sort of makes sense because I can imagine that she wouldn't want to kind of, just because she forgave her sister doesn't mean you want to sit there and watch the
your life pan out for your sister when it should have been.
Yeah. And given the fact that she ran away from the marriage, her kind of luck on the marriage mark was probably pretty dwindled at that point. So I can understand her leaving as well. But Debling disappearing makes no sense.
I think Edwina left to give her sister a chance in the ton, because if Edwina stayed around, this would have never died.
Well, I actually see it as Edwina realized what caused this big divide between they finally had their first ever real discussion where she realized how much Kate had given up, whether she asked for it or not, how much Kate had given up. And she's like, I want, for the first time in my life, my sister to not take care of me. I want to take care of me. Mum and I need to learn how to actually be a mother and daughter. We can go do this together. Like, my mother's going to be a mother for the first time. And I think, what was her name? Such a throwaway character. Miss Sharma.
Lady Sharma?
She's got a name. I don't remember it. That she finally realized, hey, Mary Sheffield, sorry.
Yeah. Lady Mary.
That she's like, hey, I put the role of mother on Kate for so long. I'm going to take that away from her because if Kate is here, sorry, if Edwina is here, she is going to feel the pressure of, and I think that's why Kate also acts the way that she does in the season is she is like, hey, I'm finally free for the first time. Like, it's like my daughter has just hit 18. She's graduated. She's moved away to college. I'm free.
Well, and I think like where she says in the engagement scene that she was just hoping it would be the two of them for a little longer. I don't think she was ready to have a baby because she'd already been a mother and she wanted a break.
It was the first time that she was just her.
Yeah.
And I think she doesn't know who she truly is because she has only ever been a mother, a big sister.
Only ever been a caretaker.
Yeah.
Because she took care of her stepmother too. So
exactly. So I kind of feel like she is the most similar to Lady Danbury, where Lady Danbury is like, hey, my husband's dead. I finally actually get to be myself, and why she turned down Adolphus,
yeah.
Like why she turned him down, because she's like, hey, it would be a great match. Like we could have a really happy life together. Like we'd be more than happy together. But I want to be happy by my own. I want to learn who I am. I don't want to be someone's wife. I don't want to be someone's mother. I want to just be me. And I feel like even though Kate obviously is married to Anthony, I think that he actually allows herself to be her, like the best version of herself. Like they encourage the best side of each other, and also the worst kind of marriage.
Yeah.
I think in order to get to the best, you've got to go through the worst and learn how to compromise between each other.
Thinking about it today as I was sitting, because when we DoorDash, like he takes my phone into whatever, like because he was doing the leg work.
Yeah.
I was brain work and the driving. So I sit in my car for however long it takes to go in and get stuff or shop stuff. And I was thinking about it today, like marriage is really the first time. I mean, yes, we have our friendships, but friendships you still live separately mostly. But a marriage, when you marry someone or you get into a relationship with someone, that's the first person that you're truly choosing to be your family. You're born into a family. You didn't get to choose them. And we are raised to believe that we can't undo them, most of us.
Yeah.
So your relationship, your marriage is that person that you are choosing to be family, to love without, I mean, honestly, some people get married after only a couple months. Some people get married only you don't know everything about a person after a couple of years, because there are situations you don't know how they're going to be when, the computer dies and the car loses all power all in the weekend. I mean,
and not even that. And I said to my homestay Emily, I said, I'm sure that there are plenty of husbands out there who, when he realized that I was looking at the weather forecast for the entirely wrong region of the country, and I mean a 6 to 8 hour drive between these two passes, like they're nowhere near each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure there are plenty of husbands that would have been like, you idiot, how could you get her so wrong?
I was just saying, I can tell you what my ex would say. Yeah.
Yeah, like we laughed about it because it was such a me thing to do. And he was like, yeah, that's on me for letting you look at the directions. Like he knows that I have zero sense of direction. Like when I ask him where he's working, I'd be like, can you give me a landmark to guide me as to where it is? I have zero sense of direction. I'm like, is it near a mall? Is it near like a zoo? Like what area of town is it? Like I got zilch in me. Okay. I have many wonderful skills in my life. Directions is not one of them. Geography is not a skill set of mine.
I think that's what makes the best marriage too, is like when you learn how to accept and give yourself grace for the things that are not your best set, then it gives the other person space to accept that as well. Like they have to be able to accept themselves. I don't believe in that adage of no one can love you until you love yourself. I think no one can know you until you know yourself and you can admit where you're going to come up short. Like Smaug, if we ever are cohabiting, I pray handles the finances, because that's not my wheelhouse. Do I manage? Yes. I have a roof. I have utilities. I have, food, but I also have a lot of stress because I'll pay something using my bank account and on a weekend, and I'll completely forget about it. And then Tuesday rolls around and I'm like, crap, and I got to scramble. And I just know, like, if I had somebody who didn't have ADHD brain like me, like they'd be like,
I have the two halves. I have the ADHD side, but then I also have the type A spreadsheets side to me as well.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I've tried keeping a checkbook and I've tried it all. My mom got real good at a checkbook, and I just can't. Once I set it somewhere, like I'll be on it every day, writing my stuff. When I worked in banking, I was great with a checkbook, but when I don't have that time, I go like even 2 days. If I go 2 days, like currently I use a bill book and I list out my bills, and it's like a checklist and I check them off when they're paid. I have, I've had my struggles this summer through now. And like I got to the point where I couldn't even look at it, and now I'm on the fly and I know I got to pick it back up and I got to get back into it. I mean, I'm still paying my bills and stuff, my main stuff on time, but it's just if I set my checkbook down, or if I lose my checkbook, which I've done, if I lose my check register and I don't write in it for a couple days, I mean, think about
highly recommend a spreadsheet. Love myself a spreadsheet.
Yeah. But
Google Excel.
That a spreadsheet still requires you to sit down and take the time to fill everything in.
But you can't lose it.
That sucks.
But you can't lose it because it's there. And it's so much easier to edit than a manual book.
I don't know. I like my physical. I have a digital journal, but I also have a writing journal. When I want to write and I feel like I have to feel the pen and feel the paper, I do that. When I'm too tired,
I have a spreadsheet because I can copy and paste the entire spreadsheet and just change the one or two things that have changed in a year, so that I can still look back and see how much like my insurance has gone up over 3 years. Because I'm like, okay, that's what it was last year. That's what it is this year. And I can see how my incoming versus outgoing has changed over the years. So I like that I've got that like data. I'm just a bit of a data nerd. Okay, let's finish this off.
I'm happy for you that brings you joy, but you even just saying it, my brain turned black. Like, it's just not me at all. Well, it's no.
Let's finish off by talking about forcing yourself into something that isn't coming naturally. And that is Lady Danbury explaining that to the Mondricks, that in order to beat the Ton at their own game, the Mondricks must host a ball. And I love, they're both like, wait, how did we get here? We're selling the club and now we're hosting everyone for free. They're drinking on our dime now. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
like before they were drinking on their dime and paying us, and now we're not even getting paid for it. Oh.
Yes and no. I think they're just afraid of spending their son's money.
Yeah, well, not just that, but I think it's like it's a hard launch, and I think they're nervous to hard launch just yet. And
enough yet.
Can you, like, I don't entirely know how this interaction services the greater picture, like everything, we're so time crunched down that as much as I love this interaction for how we see a healthy couple come through a really difficult
why would we be seeing Lady Danbury mentoring Alice
if it's not for the purpose of making her the love child in the future? Like, to me, that's the only possible outcome for why they're giving us this content.
Well, and I also think, and shame on you, writers of Bridgerton, who did not
shame on me,
who did not actually give us Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, where Lady Danbury was supposed to mentor Penelope. They still kept Lady Danbury in a mentoring role. They just had her mentor someone else. Yeah. And so if it's that, I say poo-poo to you, Jess Brownell. Because to me, that's placation. That's, you're not giving us the story we've come to love, that we've read, but you're trying to dress it up and say it's close enough. And that's condescending at best.
You're saying we're not smart enough to know the other. We have many wonderful.
Well, and that's, I think it was intentional that during the whole PR thing, they didn't talk about scenes. The fans did. The fans said mirror scene, whatever, carriage scene.
Yeah.
But whenever anyone Bridgerton talked about stuff, they talked about moments.
Yeah.
They specifically said moments, because we got the essence of Romancing Mr. Bridgerton without the actual story.
Yeah.
But this was kind of extraneous to me, because as a new family who has this money, who wants to be accepted so that their son will be accepted someday, they would have been like Portia in season 2. We have to give a ball. We have to show people that we have arrived. They would have come to that conclusion. So I don't think, and this again, I was reading something about
like people need to pay your dues to society, because like even the Fullers, like they did not want to do it per se, but they know it was an expectation of being in the Ton.
Yes.
And it's your turn.
Prudence and Philippa were never going to get to host a ball because of their circumstance. And they thought they could host a ball together and they would have enough money together only for their husband to go, no, we don't. Not anywhere near close. But yes, you're right. It's a rite of passage in society. It is a responsibility to society because people of leisure don't work. They need things to fill their time. So if anything, Prudence and Philippa should have been hosting tea at the least.
Yes, I can imagine that if Philippa and Prudence were to pool their funds, they probably wouldn't have been even able to have the soiree, the engagement party soiree. Like that's the level of like that would have financially set them back years.
Right, but they could have hosted teas, maybe one or two a season, and that would have kept them in society.
In society on the outskirts, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still getting invites.
But I tend to think because we had Lady Danbury brought Alice to the Queen's Ball so that she wouldn't have to come alone. Now she's at their house. And then like even from this point on, she's pretty much guiding them in society.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note too, like we have the marriage lessons from, Colin to Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
And there's almost a like everybody is trying to mentor Penelope on how to be marriageable from her mother and everything else later. This is kind of similar where we see Benedict's version of what they should expect in the ton, Colin's version of what they should expect in the ton, and then they get taken under the wing of Lady Danbury, and that's when they elevate in society. And I think that was to show her importance because this whole season, really, in the end, you get your Holy Trinity. You have Whistledown and the Queen and Danbury all showing how influential they are in this season, and who's powerful.
Yes. All right. But today, gentle listeners, because we're over the 2-hour mark, and this is going to be a lot of editing for a very rough sounding audio. But today, gentle listeners, we will leave it there and continue on next week's episode. If you have anything in particular you would like us to cover or any Bridgerton knowledge you would like to share, please head to our Facebook page, The Ladies Bridgerton. And if you are enjoying our podcast, please remember to click like, subscribe, and leave comments wherever you are listening.
And once again, thank you for listening to the musings and tangents of two mad women.
Yours truly, Tash the Kiwi.
And Lady Patty.